Ain't a country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it. Ain't a country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it.
Okay, firstly, I gotta address apologetics. It doesn't make sense, I'm not sorry, I don't get it. The fact that he was crucified means that we're all indebted. We should demand to have a culture that doesn't soon forget it. Every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess it. Christ is king, listen up, get the message. The time is short, the deception is impressive. The church itself is corrupted and wretched. They preach about grace, no righteousness expected. God gaze at the pulpit because their sin is accepted. The devil calls, they don't even try to reject it. They're employed by Satan, they are tax exempted.
Ain't a country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it. Ain't a country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it.
It's neither land of the free, nor is it home of the brave. When you got people here killing babies every day, and all the Christians here think that they can get away if they throw a couple bucks into the bucket on Sunday. But I don't think that that's the way it works. He said to seek the kingdom and his righteousness first. But you wanna grab a handbag and a Rolex, and what's worse, you think that you deserve it, but the bubble's about to burst. It's time to rise, sell the cloak for a weapon. Got the sword in my left, in the right, Smith & Wesson. And I don't think it's wise for you to try to be testing. If you become a Goliath, then I'ma teach you a lesson. It's apostasy, and what the cost will be is the people in the church and state accosting me. But I'm speaking honestly, you are not the boss of me, because I only give allegiance to the one true king. And I don't care if we burn down this whole country, cause it's wretched and rusty and rotten, stupid and ugly. And I got no love for churches and preachers set up above me, cause their democracy's about to be replaced with monarchy.
Ain't a country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it. Ain't a country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Main Character Podcast, level 100. We made it. Yeah! Made possible, of course, by the Christian Dominion movement. That's you guys. I'm Conman, your mentally ill maniac, your crazy Sprite-spiked Kool-Aid cult purveyor, and of course, zealot and slave of the kingdom of God. It is great to be back here with all of you guys after such a long time. And I know it wasn't an incredibly long amount of time, but it felt like it. It seriously feels like I don't even know what I'm doing here. Now, on this channel, we declare that you cannot have the truth without the way, the truth, and the life, right? And that is Jesus Christ. He is alive today. He is king today. Destination kingdom. Amen. And we live by our motto, trust God, take the risk, do the work. I'm happy to have all of you here once again for another level of the Main Character Podcast. This is level 100, the first prestige. And I don't have the thumbnail. I don't have the, what, down here. There's supposed to be like a different, supposed to say CDM now, but it doesn't. We'll get there, okay? This is the beginning, all right? This is the first prestige, and we'll open up with a little bit of what that is in a moment here, but let's start by talking about our wonderful community. Let's start by greeting everybody. It's great to have all of you here. I am so glad that those of you guys are here with us tonight because, as you know, it's been a long time since I've been here on the YouTube scene, and obviously when you take a long time away, that can really hurt you with the algorithm, and that's really how you know. That's how you test the metal. I've always been a quality over quantity kind of guy. I think that's been kind of the history of this channel and this community, that as we've grown, it's been kind of an uphill battle for us to get to the numbers that you see with some of these larger channels, but it's been very amazing to have all of these really cool personal interactions and real life, real fellowship experience. You know, I had these old timers talking to me about church and asked me what church I was a part of, and I kind of stopped. I was like, oh, well, I'm not currently involved in a church. And then I thought about it and I was like, you know, what really is the church? but the body of God's people coming together for gatherings, for fellowship, to talk and live and coexist. And we may not agree on everything, and we may not have a perfectly functioning, healthy, sin-free lifestyle going on over here, but nevertheless, we are a community that loves God and believes that Jesus is King. And that's the first and most important thing. This might be just the place. You might find that the church is a little too clean cut for you. You might be a little rough around the edges. You might be a little brash and overbearing. Well, I can tell you, you're welcome here as long as you're okay with being force-fed Sprite spiked Kool-Aid every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific. All right? With that being said, let's say hi to everybody. This list is crazy long. I'm actually really impressed that all of you guys are here right now. I don't even know where to start. I know that Wendy was in here first. She's like posting a ton of comments. She's like dropping awoogas left and right. All right, let's do it. Let's have our first awooga of the new season. Yeah. And that is because we've upgraded, right? When this show first started, we were riding around in a party bus, and we were content with that. We've remained content. Like I said, quality over quantity. If we just have a few friends here on Wednesday night, that's fine with me. That actually ties in directly into the reason I've been gone for so long. I had a lot on my mind, a lot to think about going forward from here, because as you can see, the channel has grown, although it's not an incredible amount in the grand scheme of things. We're talking about a percentage. When we dropped the big, so disturbing eschatological review documentary a couple weeks back, we gained almost 25% on the subscriber count for the channel. So congratulations to everyone who helped to make that possible with comments and views and considerations to just what it is that we've dug up recently. I highly consider, I highly suggest you consider watching it and seeing for yourself what you think about the information. There's a couple follow-up videos and all that good stuff, But eschatology really isn't the center of what I came here to do on YouTube, and we'll talk more about that as well as we go forward. But before we get all lost in the thick of it all, I just want to say hi to all of you guys. It's really super great to see you here. There's really so many of you, but I'm not going to skip it on the first day back. I mean, where do I go? Like I said, Wendy was probably here first. She's captain of the big blimp and party blimp. There's too many people drinking Kool-Aid on this vehicle. We had to upgrade to an airship. And I think an airship's relevant. That's like the old world vehicle of mysterious, illustrious transportation. And it's so ties into everything, right? The lost history of our world and the ever-changing story of even today. I remember when the word vaccine had a different definition, but then they whatever you want to call it, they changed that. I was going to say Mandela, but it's really not magic. They just wrote something else in there and said, accept it, you guys, eat up the new definition. But everybody's here. I see Code in the house. Good to see you, brother. Welcome in. We got Mama Khan. Love you, Mama. Good to have you with us. We got Little Seasoned and Spicy. That's Jenny Layton dropping the honk honk as well. We got the awooga. We never did fix the bus horn. I think it got like copyright struck or something. Like not allowed to use it anymore or something. I can't remember exactly what happened, but the horn is out of service. I keep saying I'm gonna record Bam's little Euro horn and just have like a little deep deep. I think it'd be a lot more polite. But anyway, I noticed that Ceiling Fan Man made it in. My friend, good to see you as well. Happy to have you here with us. We also got brother Aaron, Eyes for Truth. Good to see you, brother. We also got Mike Jones, and he's like, hey, party people. And this is where the party's at Wednesday night. Wednesday, trash day, hump day. I almost forgot to say that. Who am I? I've been gone a little too long. Yeah, for those of you guys who have not been here before, this show takes place on trash night. I have to remember to take out the trash tomorrow. I've forgotten way too many times. So usually at the end of the chat, everyone's like, don't forget the trash. So yeah, Wednesday, trash day, hump day. If you're on that, Monday, 9 to 5 grind. I hope you're hanging in there. I hope you're doing okay. Today was a long one for me. A little out of the ordinary for me. It's kind of like, I really wanted a smooth sailing regular day, because I'm like, I gotta come back and do my show again. I gotta get back in the swing of things. I don't need any hiccups today, and it was just nothing but derailment. But it ended with free slices of Costco pizza, which totally just solved everything for me. It's like, well, we got pizza, dinner's handled. I think we're gonna be okay. So here we are. Anyway, I noticed a Joyful One made it in. Good to see you, Joyful One. And we've also got Holkma, my good friend. It's always good to see you, my friend Holkma. Always good to have you here. We also got Amelia. Welcome in, Amelia Petrella. We're always glad to have you here. And Jillian as well. Jillian made it in. Jillian and Aaron, I hope you guys are doing well lately. God bless you guys. I know you've been having some struggles. That's the strength of this community. Just lay all your cares upon the kingdom. Put it into Jesus' hands. We do that together. We see results. It's a true thing. Trust God. Take the risk. Do the work. Sometimes that work involves just getting into the prayer closet and giving it up to God. And I think all too often we try to challenge ourselves to take on all the obstacles, to overcome all the trials and tribulations, seeing ourselves as responsible for the things we've been faced with, which is true. But we have to remember that we're not in this alone. God is with us every step of the way. There's a reason we exist in this day and age. It's like one of the most important things I want to preach and teach in this age is that we're not here by accident. Things seem tumultuous and difficult, and in many of our lives they are. Like I was just about to complain about how I've been paying $5 a gallon for gas for like 5 months or something now since this whole Iran. I guess it's 90 days. But 90 days is long enough. I was told it was going to be like 2 weeks. And now it's just $5 a gallon. That's the new normal. I was talking about this with my brother. Things at the grocery store that used to be like $1, $1.30, $1.50. Now everything's just $5. Box of crackers, $5. Loaf of bread, $5. Jug of milk, $5. Like everything's just $5 now. It used to be $1. You could like manage it. Grocery store. If I get 20 items, it'd be about $20. Now it's 20 items, $100. Ah, sheesh. It's crazy out here. My gosh. How do they expect us to pay these bills? Oh my goodness. I noticed that we also have Adrienne Petrakovitz in here. Good to see you, Adrienne. Welcome in, as always. I'm going to try to get caught up. Oh, here am I, like, unable to even just get to the point. Okay, the greetings matter. We got here 626. Prestige 1. Holy gold camo unlocked. You know exactly where I'm going with this, my man. A lot of people who grew up playing video games know exactly what I'm talking about because in like, what was it, like November 2010 when they dropped Black Ops and they started doing the prestige system. Maybe it was Black Ops 2. I forget? No, because I think Black Ops 2 is when they added like more prestiges. You know what I'm saying? Like where you could get to an even higher level. But anyway, we'll talk a little about that. Let's see who else is in here before we get down to brass tacks and pull into our first stop on the trail. I guess we're not pulling in anymore. We're flying in. Before we make our landing at our first tourist destination Shilltown population me. I'm the mayor of Shilltown. I've elected with the only ballot. I'm the only resident in Shilltown. So when it's time for elections, I just write my own name in. I became the mayor. I'm also the sheriff, the judge, and the executioner. Anyway, we got Pugmaster. We back. We are so back. I've got a lot of interesting things I want to share with you guys. Hopefully we'll get to all of it. No guarantee about how long the show is going to be. I actually have no idea. We're just gonna take it as it comes because that's the way we do things around here. The only cult I'm currently involved in. Lucas Williams, good to have you here with us. We've also got Indigo 55. Welcome. So good to have you here. I know I saw some more and we jumped. We got Give Me Freedoms. Thanks for the trash reminder. Hey, no problem. We've also got Precision Rifleman. Welcome in, my friend. It's great to have you here with us. And I think that's just about it, right? Oh, Giant Tree made it in before it was too late. That's awesome. All right, y'all. Everybody, pass out the Kool-Aid and buckle up. We've got our first stop here. I have no artwork for you. I should have things. I should be more prepared. It's been kind of a tough couple of weeks. I've been trying really hard to get back on track, and I figured the only way to do it was just to jump in like a cold swimming pool or whatever. You just, well, get back there. We'll figure it out throughout the week. So as it stands, we don't have our Patreon supporter banner. We have the other one. These are the last members who supported the channel on Patreon. God bless you guys. Thank you for being a part of this, for helping to make this possible. I get the feeling that some people have unsubscribed, and I understand that because obviously I went on an undefined hiatus period. So it was like, is he ever going to come back? I don't want to support some guy who just quits. You know what I mean? And aside from all that, it's expensive. I was just talking about $5 gas, $5 bread, $5 crackers. $5 M&M's bag. It's actually like $9 M&M's bag if you go for like the big one. Anyway, that's beside the point. What I wanted to say is just thank you to all of you guys who have supported the channel so far. Thanks to all of you guys who have helped create the inception of what is going to be this new beginning, because I've had people accuse me of like wasting the Patreon support money on car parts. And I like jokingly said that in the past, but I legitimately have all of the money that everyone's supported so far in an account as a savings. And I'm excited because we can use it to build something. We can grow something here. It's not just like getting burned up on useless projects, which to many people is pointless and of no real value. I understand that perspective. Now, I'm very grateful that I've been able to get Bamalam back on the road. For those of you guys who missed our live stream, I have the car running and driving. It's been an incredible, I would say, divine experience in the sense of the Lord. It's just taught me so much, not just about how to fix an old car, but about the importance of really managing how much of our time and energy we give to material stuff. This has been a huge problem in the modern age, is that people lose focus on what's really important. And we get caught up in the things we dreamed of, the material things, and we even sometimes get our hands on it, right? I have the car. I drove it to work today. It's a pretty incredible feeling. To fix something catastrophically lost, to see it restored to function and beauty, and to continue to have responsibility for it as it continues to be improved upon and made beautiful again. Like, that is an amazing thing to oversee. It's not as amazing as rescuing a kitten from like a freezing tundra or whatever and raising them back to health. But in a way, it has some semblance of that because it's somebody's hard work and the product of creative minds and engineering that God created. And those people worked hard to produce this thing, and it was so valuable, and people spent so much money on it, and it was thrown to the side by circumstance. And I got to play a role in not only restoring that and bringing that back to life, but getting to enjoy it. And I'm grateful for all of you guys for sticking with me through the process of not only just fixing BAM, but figuring out what all this is supposed to be. And I guess that's really where I say thank you guys for being here tonight. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks to everybody who continues to support the channel or continued to support the channel, even in my absence, for whatever it is that you're here for. Thank you for being here. And with all that being said, this is my chance to kind of, I guess, pitch myself to you guys. Not really a pitch, but, shill town. You got to shill for something. And, with the channel being brand new, welcome to the new CDM YouTube channel. Not that it's a new channel, but that we've really grown and changed into this new form. There's a new call for support here on this network, and it isn't just so that I can get money for tires or whatever. Not that I even need that. I like the opportunity to bless others if I can. So anytime that I ever go over or have any room, I do what I can to bless others, and I think that we should all be that way. It's a good kind of pay it forward mentality. It works in the right format, And if you invest it in the right places. So if you think that this channel or the future of this organization is a good investment, I'd suggest you consider supporting us over there on patreon.com, currently /thecultofkhan. Now, I think we're going to be rebranding the Patreon as well, because we're going to legitimize this. And again, that's part of what this whole thing is about, which is that I took this indefinite hiatus, and I guess I'll go into more detail about that. But before I do that, I want to share that we do have a merch giveaway. For those of you guys who have been supporting the channel in the other way, we do have the, what's it called? The CDM. Discover our exclusive range at the CDM shop. Now, these are all the same designs from just a couple weeks ago, but if you haven't had a chance, please consider going over here and picking something up to use to support this channel, this ministry, this network. Everything that we're growing here, everything that we intend to do here is funded right now by the support of generous donations and people who find value in the art and designs and the cause of this thing. So until we have developed our own system of value and products of unique value, it relies on people's kindness and generosity. And I appreciate that. I just don't want to always live like that. I want to be able to produce things that are, like I said, valuable, so that people can use their money to buy something for their life that they want, that's helping them, that's improving their life, that they enjoy, they're entertained by. You want people to want to do it. Churches have historically, for so long, survived solely on like trying to guilt people into investing in the kingdom and whatever other manipulative techniques, and I'm just not about that. I would rather run the show for free. I would rather just not be able to progress in certain financial ways for longer periods of time because we had to grassroots the money. I just don't want to become the kind of organization that's constantly badgering people for money. We should be able to make stuff that people want. And so that's kind of part of the goal of CDM, is not just to empower people with their identity in Christ and their authority in his kingdom and their responsibility to the world, but also to raise the bar for the way things are. Like, we could produce kingdom quality stuff and outdo what's available on the market in pretty much any category. If there's anything you do in the world, it could be done kingdom quality and would be worth more for that reason. So it's just something to think about as we go forward as a group. But if you're interested, CDM shop, check it out. We've also got new merchandise coming. So there's going to be a new portfolio of designs popping up in there in the not too distant future. New art coming for that. So the channel's getting new art, the Patreon's getting new art, and the web store's getting new art. So a bunch of new stuff in the new future of CD. I'm excited to get started. And I wish it was all like ready to go, package, check it out. But that's kind of where we're at in the first Prestige. You know, it's something specific. It's something different. It's something that you really know. I can't think of a better example than the first Prestige Call of Duty. Like when you work your way through this long process, this arduous journey, and you get to the end of it, and you have all this experience that you've gained, and you have all these hopefully friends you made along the way, and hopefully giants that you've conquered in your path, and you get to the end of this road and you find yourself at a crossroads, and it's like, what do I do next? And when I started this channel, I kind of just wanted to vent on the internet. I was like really angry. I was hearkening back to the 2019, 2020-ish era when the censorship on the internet was so prolific that somebody like me stood no chance. I mean, you guys still see me filtered, and I'm not saying I'm being dishonest. I just know I'm on the internet. I still have to go to work on Monday or whatever. You know, I still have to have a job. And so I have to kind of be somewhat realistic about what I say. I can't just like go screaming the N-word and stuff. It's not gonna do too well, right? Not that I do that. I'm saying that, like, you know, you have to be somewhat realistic about how you behave. And I wanted to speak my mind freely. I wanted to engage with people that just appreciated raw truth, you know? Even if you're wrong, you know, it's how you see it, right? I always say I calls them as I sees them, you know? And I've always appreciated straight shooters, even if I totally disagreed with them. I loved so much when people were just honest with themselves and with everyone else, not faking virtues to try and be fitting in or trying to just, gain some sort of like approval of others. I just want people to be their real selves. And even if that sucks, at least then we can work on it because we know what it is, right? So when I started this, I just wanted to vent. I wanted to talk. And I thought, based on the way the internet treated me in 2018, 19, 20, about my extremist Christian views or whatever it is, and the way I was banned from the internet for speaking some of the simplest truths that by now everybody's come to know, and all the big channels are now getting their views for talking about Fauci and everything these days. And it's like, I got banned from like everything for that. And I kind of gave up on social media, so I stopped paying attention. I didn't realize how much the discourse had changed. And so I thought there was no room for me. So I just kind of shelled up. And I got to the point where I was like, I got to get this stuff off my chest. I got to share what I think. Because whenever I see this, it's just getting worse and nothing's changing. And I was getting to the end of my rope. So I wanted to talk, and I started talking about stuff. And I was into everything. Conspiracy theories, eschatology research, little season stuff, you know, whatever it is. I was trying to figure it out because I'd always been that way. It's just that now I got to be part of the conversation. Something I thought that I didn't care whether I was or wasn't until recently. I didn't realize how important it was that I was here. Like, and that seems dumb to say as the guy who's here, but you know, I take a break. I wanted to be out of the sphere of the influence of being a guy who goes on the internet and watches the stuff and then filters it and says stuff. I wanted to just unplug because I needed to clear my mind because I just didn't really know exactly what I was getting into here when I started. I thought, okay, I'll just make this little echo chamber and maybe some people will listen or maybe they won't, but I'll just come on here and just yell. I'll have these moments where I was like, this is a bunch of bullshit, or whatever. And again, I just thought that nobody would agree with me. I thought I was like alone as like a crazy mentally ill man yelling on the internet. And then over the course of the last, year and a half or 2 years, I guess, a lot of you guys have shown me that I actually am speaking the truth that a lot of people are feeling in their hearts and thinking in their heads and yelling at the TV screen on a Wednesday night or whatever. And then I realized it's like maybe my ideas aren't unpopular. Maybe there's a lot more people who believe the way I believe and they're just too afraid to say so, or they just don't have a platform. And I remember 2019, if you even said anything that questioned, you were gone, let alone like, oh, the whole world should be usurped by a Christian force that, you know what I mean? Like we have to be realistic here. So anyway, I knew that it was going to be like I don't know, controversial to say the things I say, but I didn't expect to have people that agreed with me. And then more and more people agreeing with me to the point where it's like the more I have really come to iron out what it is I really think, the more people are like, yep, that's exactly how I think, dude. It's constant. It's almost been surreal to me, the amount of like, what do you call it? Like, not vindication, but like if I ever asked God, like, do you really want me to be in, like, what am I doing, God? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? It's confirmation is the word I'm looking for. Confirmation, which as a guy who has been down the road of trying to be the whatever torch bearer of anything, I tell you, it sucks, like, there's just no guarantee how things are going to go. I should have taken that parts picker job at the Tucker Rocky warehouse in 2013. I should have bought the $700 Honda CRX with the 5-speed manual. I should have just knocked up my white trash girlfriend and just gotten in the grind. I should have just locked in. I could have just gone through with what I lied about in the job interview. Oh, my girlfriend's pregnant. I need this job. I was a bad dude, man. Oh, man. But even then, there was this part of me that was like, dude, you got to do better than that. Like, I couldn't take the job on the false pretense. I was such a shithead, man. And anyway, I've tried to do leadership too. I tried to be like in the band, and we got the record deal. Like, I got attacked by a crazy guy who was like jealous of our success. Like physical trauma. Emotional. Like, you can't ever stand near strangers anymore because you know how easy they could just stab your neck or headbutt you in the face. And you never live that experience, you'll constantly like, don't let a guy stand behind you because you don't know who that is. Now you're a victim. Now you're vulnerable. Because reality is just like that. I've been in the front of things. That's what it is to be the front man. That's the guy they hit when they don't like what you're doing as a group. And so I get it. I know all about it. The movies and the TV shows and the people and the politicians and everything, they make leadership responsibility look like it's all fun, like it's all about money, untouchable, own the other team, nothing ever happens to you. And that's because they're all in this club where the opposition is just like also on their team. So it's like they shake hands when the TV's off. But we live in the real world, If you oppose some of these forces in the world, they'll Charlie Kirk you, my friend. Whether it's real or fake, you're going away. That's a real threat to people who are a real threat to them. And what is a real threat to them? Jesus Christ. His kingdom. The way, the truth, and the life. The better way of living than what we live now. And I'm a purveyor of such Kool-Aid. And so I understand, I know that we aren't reaching the world. We aren't changing the world. We aren't doing anything massive yet. But I know the kind of impact this kind of thing can have. I know the cost. I know the penalty of leadership. And I haven't even lived a fraction. I haven't even hardly led anything. But I know that it costs. It costs labor. I put all of my time and energy into that band, Every moment was trying to get more shows or more people to watch it or just give us a chance, And my message was crap. Like, listen to our stupid music. You know what I mean? I was like, that's what you're preaching? It doesn't even have any actual significance. And yet we drove that pretty far for a bunch of kids with no education and no leadership, really, no guidance. But I understood what it was like to be the face of something that they hate. And so I get it. I get that you can work as hard as possible and get no recognition. You can be totally attacked and vilified and hated when you didn't do anything wrong. You can be totally have your life uprooted and have to try and find a new place to live, lose your job. And all these things are normal just for being a guy in a band that's not their band, Let alone some kind of cult of the world should be run by Christians, we're not taking no for an answer type ideology. What could be described as not that I think this is true, but what they may describe as some sort of a terroristic anti-government religious cult. Not that I believe that's what I am or what we are. But that's what they say. That's what they do. They vilify you and try to kill you because you did anything they don't like. I know it. I see it all the time. People's lives utterly destroyed who have stuff to lose, by the way. Like I said, they knocked up their girlfriend. They bought the Honda. They've been at the warehouse. They've been picking orders for off-road parts for the last 20 years over there. Okay, and that's a long time. You know, I was talking about this the other day. It was something that happened in 2007, which is about 20 years ago. And my coworker chimes in, that's the year I was born. Whoa! You know? It all just goes by so fast, man. Next thing you know, you're old and you've worked your whole life away but you know what? Through all of it, despite all of that, so many of you people can say, I did 20 good years at this place or that place. I worked hard. I earned my pay. I paid my bills. I fed my kids. I raised my kids. If that's something you can say, God bless you. Congratulations. And I think about how my life could be that right now. I could have kids. I should be in bed, or at least with the family, you know? Because I got to get up in the morning to drive my dump truck 50 hours this week to feed those little kids. And I totally respect that life. I'm envious of that life because the closer I get to the other side of the coin, the more I realize, oh no, what am I doing here? This is the worst idea in the world. It's the worst idea ever. Like, it's not even a burning bush moment. Like, I know. It's like, yes, it's more like a yellow brick road. Like, it's just clear what we're supposed to do. I didn't write the script. I'm not even... I'm just picking up the cross and following here. I'm just reading the words right off the page, you know. Chapter 1, the first book, and so on and so forth. The point is that I realize that to take on these incredible challenges of leadership, to take on these forces of people, it's not just like a movie. It's not just like a game. It's not just like, oh, well, you get to be the cool guy who has all the fun and everyone likes him. And there's this unrealistic aura of success and untouchable until the main character comes to undo you or whatever. You know, I've been playing some of that Far Cry 5, you know, and the bad guy in the game is Joseph Seed, who wears the yellow glasses. He's a cult leader. He's got all those people together, like thinking that the collapse is coming, and they got to get all ready and whatever. His doomsday cult or whatever, and it's so funny. It's like, am I inspired by him or is he inspired by me? That was the joke. Well, I guess really, if you look at the situation, it's like, how am I anything other than an actual stereotype? This guy comes out here, he's crazy, and he wears yellow glasses and talks about all this, like this UFO kingdom of God, and like, it's unhinged. And I could see why that would be like a character that is unliked, like as someone you want to get rid of type figure, especially if what I'm saying is true and makes sense, because it's not just the delusional ramblings of a crazy person. It's actually in the Bible, and I just pass off like I'm crazy because it's fun. and maybe I'm a little crazy, but what I'm getting at is that I've always kind of seen it as like a brand and a joke, but the world isn't gonna see it that way. They don't. And again, it's like when we started this and it was just a party bus of Kool-Aid people, it was fun. And it was just about yelling about stuff on the internet. I never thought anyone would agree with me or listen to me or appreciate anything I did or said on here. And because of how much junk there is, like I didn't even think anyone would ever listen. But here we are at the end of a prolonged hiatus, having postponed this stream twice. So 2 times we were going to do this and didn't do it. And then I waited like a month before I came back. And the reason I did that was because I needed to be sure I was ready and wanted to do this. Because I've had a couple of moments over the last couple of months where it's like, don't get me wrong, I don't think I'm like, well, I had to give up my golden ticket, guaranteed success, fame, and fortune. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's like a job opportunity to scoop slime. It's like the worst commitment of work so hard, no appreciation, everyone hates you. Yay, you know? And I just had to think about whether or not I was even going to do it. It's like I said, I could have just knocked up the girl and got the warehouse job and drove the Honda and worked step by step up till now, and I'd probably have 8-year-old kids and stuff. 10. You know? And I think about that, and that's just not where I'm at, and so why, right? Everything happens for a reason. Like I've never had a problem getting a girlfriend. I could have settled down. Something kept me from doing the right thing or the wrong thing or whatever. I think that the Lord has a plan for everything and everyone all the time. And now here we are in 2026 and everything's like catastrophically bad. Like, what else can I say? The couple weeks Iran war that was never supposed to happen is in full swing. The draft is instituted on December 1st this year. I heard that. That could be real. They could actually be instituting a U.S. military selective service draft in December of this year. Don't quote me on it, but I saw that going around, man. If that's, even though that's what's the worst thing ever, right? The fact that you can't know if that's real or not. That's the worst part about it. You could actually literally be staring down the barrel of a draft for these kids, and they never did a thing. They didn't want any of this. Nobody wanted this. And things are teetering out of control. And everybody else has kids to feed and a job they've put 20 years in that they can't give up, and a truck payment and all these things that, like, I used to think were the prison. I used to see this as unmitigated suffering to be a prisoner of pay the mortgage and go back to work, and you can't quit because you have to pay till you're dead. Like, I thought that cycle was as bad as it can get, but then I realized it can be worse. You can just be none of those things, have none of those things, and be hated by everybody. Dump all of your time and energy into an idea, a dream, a vision, something that's for everybody that would make their lives better, and yet it could basically just destroy you, bankrupt you, and leave you on the edge fringe of society with no recompense, because you either win or you lose. You either change the world, lead a giant revolution of thought and belief that isn't based on some idea that I came up with, but like, really, people activate the truth that Jesus Christ taught everyone. It's not me, but just maybe I can help people see that. Maybe God's own floodgate opens and I just kind of helped point people in that direction, okay? I'm not trying to take credit for it. I don't even want to do it. I don't like evangelism. I don't even like ministry organizations because they're not even really ruling over anything. They're not administrating anything. Churchianity is a big joke. The religion of Christianity is ridiculous to people. So how are you going to try and get people to reevaluate and reconsider these things, right? It seems insurmountable. So for me, I just kind of didn't want to do it. I felt tired. I didn't want to come on the show because it's like turning into something serious, right? It's turning into, now I can't give up on this because there's nobody else carrying the mantle. Like if Christian dominion, righteous rulership, the kingdom for everyone in Christ, like if the real doctrine of the kingdom was present and available and someone else was leading it, I could just be like, well, just go watch that one guy's show. Go subscribe. You guys should check out whoever's ministry. It's so good. So solid. Mystery problem solved. You know? Because now everyone's on to the kingdom, authority, Christian dominion thing. And I hear people uttering things like it. We got to take back our dominion. Like it's whispered in the hallway outside. I've been the guy yelling for a year and a half now about Christian dominion, and I keep hoping for an escape clause that someone bigger than me or more established than me is going to be like, you know what? That is the truth. The world sucks because it's run by heathens. Duh. And not only should Christians run the world because it makes sense, it's in the Bible. It's the first command of God. His people should run this place. Everyone else is fraudulent and illegitimate and only claiming they have authority illegitimately. And we just let it happen. All Christians divided amongst each other. Catholics, Protestants, Presbyterians, Lutherans, non-denominational, Mormon, whatever. And anybody who can acknowledge that Jesus Christ was resurrected from the dead, is alive today and king today, that is what unites us. That is your side of the fence. It's not about the Eucharist or about Mary or about all these things that should be decided at a Christian roundtable later after the world has been subdued and entered under the righteous dominion. Because right now, Christians are all at each other's throats over a bunch of shit. And the rest of the world, the Muslims, the Jews, the heathens, they're all advancing rapidly. And the world is deteriorating so fast that I can't week by week give it to you without sounding like a giant black pill negative asshole. Because I sound like the guy that's like, take it seriously now. It's so, you're screwed. And I hate that message. That's everyone's message now. Well, of course it's burning down for crying out loud. Look at it. Again, what I'm trying to say is that I had to decide if I was really going to take on this challenge because I know it's going to ruin my life. Like, I just got my dream car built. It's not done, but like, I can just drive that car and clean the floor here and have no problems. And the world will get worse. Not like I think it hinges in the balance that if I do nothing, the world will fall. Only I. No, it's just that if no one pushes back, no one pushes back. It reminds me of this story. I tell it all the time because it mattered to more people outside than it did to me. And so because of the significance, I remember it. I was 13 and we were on the crappy local kids youth football team. And we were running drills early in the season, brand new team. Bunch of kids I'd not played with before. I never played sports before. And some of these kids knew each other from years of sports and from years of school, but I didn't know many people. And they didn't all know each other either. And it's a new team. And we're running these things called suicides where you run up to the 10 and back to the 0 and up to the 20 and back to 0. And like you go the whole length of the field. It's crazy. It's really hard on even a kid. You know, we had a guy on our team, Jesse. Big guy. Real big guy. I mean, we were like 13. He was like 265. 6'2", 265. Fat guy. I mean, he was a big and fat guy. Okay, and we all ran and we all wrapped up. And then I looked and I saw a guy out there. Barely knew. I don't even know if I knew his name yet. Jesse Wells, I hope you're doing well out there. God bless you. Anyway, I saw him struggling out there because that's how it is when you try to run I was wiped out and I was thin as a rail. So Jesse's out there and he's halfway done and the rest of the team's on the line and I'm like, man, I'd never been a part of anything before. I'd never been on a team. I never wore a jersey. I never was part of anything that was bigger than me. But something about it just felt wrong to me to see my people out there on their own in the struggle, you know? And it took nothing. It was no thought in my head, I can't. You know, he's 265 pounds, okay? Our problems are big. I can't move 265 pounds by myself. At the time, I was like 4'9", maybe 90 pounds soaking wet. Maybe. I think I was like 84 pounds when I weigh in that year. I knew I couldn't move 265 pounds by myself, but no one was moving. Jesse was running alone on a whole team by himself. And so I ran out there because to me it was like, I don't care why anyone does anything. I can't let him run alone. It doesn't matter that I can't lift the weight. I can't carry him over the finish line. It doesn't matter. I'm here for the team. I'm here for the mission. And right now my teammate is struggling. And so I don't look at Christians on different denominations and see them as someone on another team. They're a name I don't know. They're a weight I can't carry. It's a problem I can't solve by myself. But I don't care. We're on the same team. And we are struggling. We are drowning. We are falling behind. As Christians, as believers, as people who have any semblance of sane thinking left in their mind, we are falling behind. Because we don't look at our teammates and see them as teammates. And the moral of the story is, believe it or not, I ran out there, and none of those other kids knew who I was. The 80 pounds soaking wet, 4'9" new kid who was kind of socially awkward because he was too booky and weird, and why is he now on the sports team? That kid's a nerd. They didn't want me there. But that moment, I had more heart than any of them. And it didn't make them hate me. It made them inspired to go out there and do the right thing. Not because I'm so cool, but because Jesse was on a team and didn't deserve to run his suicides alone. He didn't deserve to face the challenges that he was facing by himself, because his challenge is my challenge, is your challenge. This team that we are on is facing some of the greatest challenges of our lives. Rampant economic inflation and instability, massive social economic crisis, drugs and fentanyl poisoning the cities, pollutants in the water supply, the food supply, endless wars, 40 trillion in national debt, rampantly increasing divisions at every level of society, religious, cultural, political, racial. The world is being torn to pieces before our very eyes, and I keep looking out at the 260 million pounds of fucking problems we have. And I keep standing on the line wishing somebody else would be the guy who would run out there and do it. Because why do I have to do it? I'm the new kid. I'm 80 pounds soaking wet. I don't have any money. I don't have a big social media following. I don't have a giant ministry organization behind me, giving me money, elevating me, making sure that I can say whatever I want because my paycheck cashes at the end of the month. No. I have to work at a place where people from every walk of life come in there to play sports because they're united by the love of the game and they're every race, every religion, every creed, and I'm over here, the Christo-fascistic bigot, who will be fired and destroyed for simply believing what God says is the truth. I can't even live a neutral life. I have to stifle my words because if it comes back to where I work, well, there isn't going to be another paycheck. So while I'm in the struggle with everybody else, I have to juggle whether I do the right thing or protect my own pearls. And I just realized after spending a month off the show, as much as I love my little job that gives me the hours I need and makes use of my skills, as much as I love being able to put gas in and buy parts for my beautiful dream car, the only real thing I have, I like to say I own nothing and I'm happy. I guess my buddy Klaus was right after all. But legitimately, it's like if I was hung up by the feds, there's not much to take from me. You $2,500 worth of crap in here. Liquidate my finances, net worth of minus 25 grand or whatever. So I get it. I don't have a lot of, I'm not the big dog, I'm not the popular kid. I'm not the rich kid. I'm not the guy on the team who has the power to lead. I'm just also wearing the jersey over here, and I'm just sick of watching everybody stand around. I'm sick of standing around myself. That's the difference, right? I'm not standing here from a position of the guy who did it all and was like, why are y'all so lazy? I'm guilty too. If I choose to stay on the line and worry about my job to save my ability to buy parts to keep restoring my car for my own drive-around enjoyment in the evening hours, and I just focus on enriching myself so that my cost of bills is lower than my cost of income so I can continue to build a savings account and, maybe down the road I'll have a down payment for a home. And it's like, yeah, at the interest rate of what? A 50-year mortgage for a crap box for $480,000. It's just, can we not just be realistic? I'm too smart to pretend it's not happening. I'm too aware. You can't put Pandora's box. You can't put it back in. There is no going back from this. There is no, 2013 job at the Tucker Rocky warehouse. That ship has sailed, ladies and gentlemen, and I had to realize that about myself. This isn't just about whether or not I want to take on the responsibility of having to do a bunch of work, for one. It's a lot of work to take on anything. But to try and take your crappy YouTube channel of a mentally ill man yelling about Kool-Aid on the internet and to turn that into a multinational Christo ministry organization, and not a ministry in the classical sense. I'm talking about we're not asking permission to make the world a better place. We're not going to allow heathens to continue to tell us with their death-focused worldview how to live our lives. And people know that, and they want that. There's a whole world of people out there that represent Jesse. Too busy, too many bills, too tired, too old, too stiff, too sick. And I know it because I know all of you people. I know the struggles of my people. And I'm just blessed that my burden is that I don't have any of that. No kids, no wife, a job that I don't need to give a shit about, a car that doesn't matter in reality. All my treasures are not even here. I've got the greatest job offer on earth sitting on my lap, and I'm worried about mopping floors. Well, I'd hate to lose the opportunity to scrub shit off a toilet this week because I spoke the truth too loudly. And so that's why I took this time off. That's why I took a month off the channel, because I realized that we can't just do this anymore. It's not going to be the same thing. Times change, people change, things change. You go from being a guy who wants to talk about funny things and make it a joke to a guy who has something real that the world needs to hear. And I didn't want that to be the case, but it's just a fact of the matter. I looked, I wished, I prayed, and I'm just not seeing anyone else running off the line to help Jesse make it to the end. and we got a lot of weight. We got a lot of sweat. We got a lot of work to do, guys. And I don't say that because I think it's insurmountable or I think it's impossible. I say that because I know we can win. I know we can overcome these things. These struggles, the hyperinflation, the cultural, economic, geopolitical issues, the endless wars, the infinite debt, the trouble, and the endless struggle and suffering of everyone, your endless bills, your endless work, your endless life-sucking poison of an existence is not sustainable, and it doesn't have to be. We were not created by God to live a life of suffering and then die. We were created to discover who we truly are in Him. In Jesus Christ. He came and died for us so that we don't have to die to learn the lesson. We can learn His lesson through the life and death of Jesus Christ. We can take on a new life in Him without perishing in darkness. And the authority and the reality that we gain in that is more powerful than any of these forces in this world. I'm sure David was terrified of Goliath because in the scope of things, he was an AI data center. He was an insurmountable Zionist-occupied government. When you're standing there on the dirt next to a guy who's like 5 feet taller than you and has a spear as big as a tent pole or whatever, and you're like, what are you going to do? It's not a choice to run away. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are going in the furnace whether they like it or not. Jonah's going in the whale, you know? And I've been over here trying to figure out how if there's some way I can not do this. Like, if I could just pretend this isn't happening and, like, I could just go back to a normal life and just be like, what's going on? You know, like, play stupid about stuff. Like, Spokane burns to the ground because they refuse to put in a data center. The whole town burns to the ground. And I'm like, oh, what a terrible coincidence. Like, oh, no, that has nothing to do with Jewish lightning or a paid insane person, MK Ultra arsonist. Nope. Nah. Well, you know, with climate change, you know, this 100-degree summertime weather is certainly unprecedented. I saw news the other day where the guy read the teleprompter and then said out loud how ridiculous he thought it was. He read it. It was like, and with these unprecedented temperatures in these modern day unprecedented temperatures. And then he looked at that guy. He's like, it's like 100 degrees. It's not unprecedented. It's like it's been that hot every year. And you guys know, I've seen those maps where it's like 100 and it shows it like it's like kind of orange that one year. 10 years ago. Now it's like 100. Red, like crimson red the world, and there's like fire. Like, they really want to teach you something. They really want you to think that this is the climate change end of the world weather, and it's like, it's been this hot. Although I will say that with all the forest fires out here, it is straight up vanilla skies out there. Like my point being made about the cataclysm being in our past, and that's why all the photos have those skies. It's starting to look really, really legit. Because, like, we got, like, a couple thousand acres burned here. It's not even, like, the whole face of the known world. Imagine, like, the whole face of the known world scorched down. I mean, that'd be an atmospheric condition that would not be good for inhaling. But anyway, the long story short of what I've been trying to say for the last however long without getting to any of the meat and potatoes of this is that I realize that I have a special opportunity here to help teach people what I believe is the actual true message of the gospel, that it is about the kingdom of God. That's why it was what Jesus preached about, was the kingdom of God. And it's not that the cross isn't important, and it's not that we shouldn't have tradition, or that we shouldn't recognize the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit in the way that God has manifested His love to us, or that we should ignore history of churches and the way things have been done for however long, for good or bad or whatever, but we should get to the bare bones of what it really is and lead with that and focus on that, because it's what the world needs now more than ever. The message of Jesus Christ's kingdom is what the world needs to be saved from its condition right now. The world has, for so long now, fallen under the governments of men and followed the doctrines of men and manifested the handiwork of men, and it has been destruction. And suffering and death and division and hatred and misery for so many people, so unnecessarily. And I just, I get it. The world needs that kingdom identity in the minds of Christian people because the church is just not giving it to them. And it's not like I'm here to teach people something that they don't already know or they don't already believe, but it's all about the way they look at it, about whether or not it's really their responsibility to care about this place, to see their teammate out there struggling and say, I can't just leave you over there to suffer. And all around the world, say whatever you believe about denominations or faiths or who's really on your team, but I hear all about Christians being slaughtered in Nigeria, and I can just imagine how terrifying it would be to wake up in the night to your house being broken into by crazy people with weapons who are trying to kill you because you believe in Jesus. And it's like, I understand that people are struggling with sin, and I would rather see those people come to the kingdom. I would rather see those people come to repentance instead of breaking down the doors of their neighbors to kill them. But I can't sit idly by and allow this to happen. I'm sorry. I cannot sit here and watch the sheep of the world be destroyed by wolves and have greater empathy for wolves than for my own team. If you stand in opposition to Jesus Christ, then I can't be responsible for what happens to you. I can't put you first over my team. And I can't put myself first before the team either. So as I stood here on the line for the last month and a half, thinking about whether or not I'm going to run out, whether anyone notices or not, because I'm running out here. And however many people are watching tonight, and thank you all for being here. And look, we have a lot to do if we're going to reach the world. I got to make social media accounts. I need help. I can't do it alone. I can't move the 265 pounds across the line myself, guys. I got to have people help me. We got to do clips. We got to do videos. We got to make some real impact. We got to play the game. We got to trust God, take the risk, do the work. Now, I don't want to play social media. I don't want to be checking in on stuff, making sure we do enough posts a day to interact with that algorithm. But the people need the message. And they need the real message, not this fractionalization of the country that's happening. It's not all bad, right? I saw NXR Studios. It's the new Christian right, Joel Webbin, what do they call it? The Christian nationalists. And they were talking about the Moroccan migrant invasion in Spain. And they were saying, oh, Israel's behind this. And I thought that was interesting, but of course to be expected from like the far right kind of Christian, they're anti-Zionist and blame Israel for everything. So, of course. And then the next video down on the playlist is the Young Turks, Anna Kasparian, saying, well, the migrant invasion in Spain is a product of Israel. And here's all the receipts. And I'm just like, wait a minute, what? What is considered the fringe, maybe not the fringe, but pretty far left, the Young Turks, and extremely right, NXR, and they're saying the exact same thing, dude. And if this is the geopolitical truth that the far right and the far left if it's true, it's true. And so they can be diametrically opposed about everything but get along. And it's like, oh, there you go. When the cause is great enough, when the order of importance is high enough, you can put aside your doctrinal nonsense for the sake of survival, for the sake of what is true and right and honorable, what is objectively good versus what is objectively evil. You say objectively? Whatever. The point I'm trying to make is that it shouldn't be that hard for us to do the right thing, and it shouldn't be about parties and tribes and stuff. And when I can see secular and non-kingdom religion people, non-Christian, non-whatever, coordinating on the basis of a simple truth that they acknowledge collectively, I see no excuse for why the church in this age is so divided against itself other than bad leadership. And it's a poison that must be expelled. So if I do nothing, then who are your leaders? You've got the Grahams, you've got the what is it? The head of Trump's Zionistic church administration thing. The point I'm trying to make is it's like, guys, it's up to us. It's up to you. It's up to me. It's up to the members of the team who have the integrity to do what it takes. The people who are standing on the line aren't going to move until they see the wave pulling them in that direction. They're like sheep in a way. You have to be the sheepdog. The world needs you. That's what CDM is all about. Because every one of us is one of those guys out there struggling. We may not see it that way, but we are. Each one of us is burdened with the inability to get back to the line on time because we're screwed over. The taxes are too high. The costs of living are too high. And it only gets worse. You have the choice between a rotten, corrupted, rusty America or the third world poop-flinging hellscape. Why isn't there another choice? Why doesn't the world have the choice to choose kingdom? Not a craggly pothole road, not a dirt mud trail through the jungle, a yellow golden brick road. Think about that for a second. That is what the world needs. A third option, a better option. Think about it with every other dichotomy. The dichotomy is created by the two-party division. It's red versus blue, but there's another colored stripe on the American flag. And so then people get together. Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, Joe Kent. Are they going to start a third political party? Who knows? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But even they recognize that this or that thing isn't working. And I think that people need to understand in Christianity that you are not enemies with other Christians. Your priority is to do the thing that you were hired to do. You know, it's like if you're a mechanic, your number one job is to fix cars as they come into the shop, right? But sometimes down the line, you get other tasks. Well, we need to repaint the shop. So you work there, so you help paint the place. Or we need to put in a new lift, so you're working with electricians and you're working with hydraulics. Oh, we need to sweep the shop floor. So now all of a sudden you're a shop sweep, okay? And you might be at this point in your life where you're sweeping the shop floor and you're wondering to yourself, what's the point of all this? Why am I sweeping the shop floor? I feel like I was made for something more. And it doesn't mean that the shop floor doesn't deserve to be swept or need to be swept. But the reason people are feeling like they're missing out on the thing they're doing now is because they're doing the second half of their job and they forgot the reason they were made. They forgot the reason that God even created humans at all. And that's not being taught in the church. It's not even, I got to ask people, why did God make people? And they don't know why. And to me, I just find that crazy. Why are the basic questions not being answered? And what happens to the people who ask them? That we live in this world this far down the line, that Christianity is as old as it is, and people don't understand the very first thing God told man to do. The thing that you were hired to do. You're a mechanic, first and foremost. Yeah, you paint the shop. Yeah, you run hydraulics. Yeah, you sweep the floor. But you're a mechanic. So when we look at Christianity today, you can be a missionary. You can be a prayer warrior. You can be an investor, a counselor, somebody who does Christian things in the world. You can be a Bible study teacher. You can have a YouTube show. You can do things that are biblically focused, Christian lifestyle, good for the kingdom. But none of that matters if you forgot the reason you were made to exist. You start getting caught up because you're not focused on the job. Yeah, see, a mechanic isn't intimidated by oil all over the floor. But if all you're there to do is sweep, all of a sudden you got to figure out how to soak up all the oil. Now it's this big complicated problem because you forgot that you're a mechanic first. Oil is no new thing to you. Conflict is no new thing to you. What do you think? Oh, the state of the world it's really tumultuous and shitty. Well, duh, that's why you're here. You're the guy for the tumultuous. Because you didn't live in a time of peace and economic prosperity. You don't live there now because you're living here now because you're supposed to. You're the guy for the job. It's like, it's the confidence of people like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You have to know that the only reason you're going in the furnace is because God knows you're not burning. That's the fact. If you go into the furnace thinking I'm lost, God's left me, well, that's the mindset of someone lost and left. But if I go in the furnace, I say, fine, my time's up. I didn't want to be here anyway. I wanted to go home to the kingdom. The people who fear life are the people who try to hold on to it. But if you give it up for his sake, you'll gain it. And then you find out now you actually have a real reason to exist, to live for a higher cause, to fight for something more important than just the other jobs you've been given. Not that your other jobs aren't important. You've got a wife, you've got kids, you've got bills, you have things that God has made you steward over, and those things are not to be taken for granted. They're not to be thrown to the wayside. But we all have to get back to the whole original argument. Like, how are we going to argue about whether you're supposed to do the Eucharist or not? And like, how are you going to do that when there's no Christendom left? How are you going to do that when Christendom's banned? Which denomination is it when they're all illegal? You know? And call me crazy for saying it. Well, I watched in 2020 as people were arrested for having church because the government said no because they fucking made up a virus. Okay? What? Why? We're beyond the pale at this point. I shouldn't even have to remind anybody. And this is what makes me the most furious of everything. That we have Christian leaders and teachers and preachers who will stare down the barrel at the state of the world we're in and either lie to you about it or pretend that it's fine. Neither of which is acceptable. They're dooming all of us. It's the consensus of the damned, and I'm damn done with it, and so is everybody else. That's why I'm sounding less and less crazy and more like a visionary teacher. Who would have thought? So you go, oh, crazy Kool-Aid guy on the internet now makes a lot of sense. Here's a good example. Clown world has progressed so far that sanity is far gone. Saw this interview, it was the craziest thing, probably orchestrated, but it's Nick Fuentes and Hunter Biden on the Channel 5 News, Andrew Callahan, and I listened to the interview and it's like not that bad, you know. I guess the story is they got in a couple fights and like had some big beef throughout the process of recording this thing, but ultimately they had a decently cordial conversation that led to nothing and meant nothing in the grand scheme of things. But the long story short of it is like, Nick Fuentes had made a joke about a baker and the amount of cookies that they could bake at a certain rate and how many fit in the oven and how much time it would take to bake those 6 million cookies and how it would take too long and it's impossible. Ha, ha, ha. Big funny joke, you know. And Hunter Biden, you know, his wife's Jewish, his kids are Jewish, that's what he said. And he's like, he finds that extremely offensive because these people, they went through all these hardships and like, you know, he makes a fair point, whatever. But let's talk about what's really going on here, right? So then he wants Nick Fuentes to apologize, and Nick Fuentes is like, but it's funny. It's like, you guys got to lighten up. So two people, right? One guy says, it's funny, la, la, la. Here's the data on the sheet about the cookies and the timing and the amount of cookies you could bake in that time. And, oh, it's so funny. It's a funny joke. And then the other guy, he's mad about it. It's offensive. I don't like it. But neither guy, okay? They both failed. Why? Because here's a data set about a number of cookies that fits in the oven, the amount of time it takes to bake the cookies, the amount of cookies you could bake in a predetermined amount of time, the amount of time being set in stone because it's history. You only had so much time to cook those cookies. How many could you cook? Okay? And one guy's approach about the data, the facts, it's funny, it's a joke. An emotional, it's funny, haha. The other guy, it's offensive, that's hurting my feelings. Emotional. And again, not a single acknowledgement of the data. I want to live in a world where we make data-driven decisions, where we get the emotion out of the situation and we just say, was it physically possible for that to happen? No. Struck from the record, and anybody who pushes it is punished. The truth should not only be declared, it should be imposed, because the world cannot live on a blanket of lies. We should know this already. Donald J. Trump, America first. No new wars, no new wars, no new wars, no new wars, no new wars. And yet, where are we? I'm paying $5 a gallon so that giant Zionists can expand the borders of Israel, and I'm fucking over it. I'm over it. And I'm sick of thinking that the blue people or the red people or the Christian church, whatever, they're all a bunch of flaccid losers, liars, grifters, thieves, and idiots at best. And so I'm standing here on the line surrounded by morons, and I see our problems, and I see my peers, and I see my friends and my family and my Nigerian Christian brothers and sisters being killed. And I say enough is enough. I'm tired of it. Stop releasing criminals after their 17th offense. And if you do, you're going in the hole. All of this stuff is common sense. I'm not crazy, and I'm done having the argument. I am no longer arguing with people because I figured out how this works. You try to argue with somebody, they pull up ChatGPT, and now you're arguing with a robot because the sheep can't do it themselves. The fact is, people do nothing but run their mouth. They stand on the line and they talk. The people who change the world are the people who move. So I spent the last month and a half thinking about it. Am I just going to stay on the line too like everybody else because it's easier, it's cheaper, it's more fun? I could. That's the easy way out. But the difference is, no, I'm here, and I'm here to stay, and I'm here to make it worse. And by that I mean I'm here to go to the next level with this. That is why the cult of Khan is no longer the cult of Khan. It is now the Christian Dominion movement. We are embracing an ideology and identity that is greater than one that we have in the face of mankind. Who is Khan? I must become less so that he can become more. And what was his message? His message was not about conspiracy theories or about eschatological research communities or about the geopolitical sphere of the day. His message was about the authority and power of his coming kingdom, which has come, which is established. He is alive today. He is king today. And what the Christian people of the world today need to know is that the threat we face is real, but that the solution we have is real. And that solution is the kingdom of God and its authority and his righteousness. You know, Christ teaches us that if we seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, everything else will be added unto us. And people seem to mistake what that really means. But to me, it's very simple. God's kingdom is his plan, his authority, his will. That's the force of his kingdom in the world. And when God made man, he made man for one job first above everything else. First, to go forth and subdue the earth, to have dominion over everything here. Because by doing what he told you to do first, everything else he tells you to do, you can do way better, way easier. And so all throughout the scripture, the New Testament, we hear Christ talk about follow after him, pick up his cross, pick up your cross, follow him. We hear about James. He talks about the only pure and undefiled religion is this, to care for widows and orphans. And you hear time and time again the Christian message about caring for people, love your brother, love your enemy, love your neighbor. There's so many things that the Bible compels us through the true gospel message of how we should live and what we should live for and why. But we can do none of those things outside of the position of authority that God has designed for us to have in the world. When you don't sit there, the devil takes the throne instead. And the result is every kind of chaotic, destructive horror that you can imagine, and we're living it today. The existential rot has taken the greatest country on earth and turned it into a place where even the people who live there and benefit from it hate it and wish that something else could be here instead, that something else could take its place. And you know, this is why the argument is so heated, because when I look at people who are like boomers or people who are like conservative, which a lot of Christians are, right? That's where you come from, is conservative Christian backgrounds. And you tell them the enemy of our modern age is the American beast. The American system has to be destroyed. And when you tell people that, they immediately say, and have what? A third world shithole? Because just like I said earlier, you have a red and a blue, and you don't have a third option. And we deserve a third option. My whole life, I've just wanted there to be a different kingdom to pledge allegiance to. So that even if this one was rotten and that one was rotten, I could say, that one's not mine. I come from a place that's better. I come from a culture that's better. I believe things and think things and live ways that are better than this. You know? It's like, I think about it all the time. It's like a guy was talking to me about BAM today, the coordinator of this, like a youth sports league that was renting the place today because they had to be indoors because the smoke's so bad and they didn't want to ruin their summer camp for these kids. So they rented out the arena so they could be indoors. And I met the director of this thing and he was talking to me about BAM. He was like, I've been really wanting to get one. And now that I'm seeing it in real life and talking to you, it's like, it's divine, man. Like, I got to get one. I mean it. And he was, you know, he's not a car guy, so he's kind of nervous. But I told him, I was like, yeah, man, you can spend a lot of money, but you can also do it, dude. You can do it. Like, I didn't know if I had what it took, but you can do it. And like, there's this overwhelming part of me that like sees this guy and he's like, he's trying to aim for higher things and better things. And like, my heart is like, I wish I could just give him that car. I wish I could afford to. I wish I could afford to be like, hey man, you know what? Why don't you just take it? You know, wouldn't that be crazy? That's the kingdom I want to live in. That's the power level that we should be tapping into. Like, in theory, I could do that. I mean, I don't know how that would work out in the long run. Don't quote me on it. I would love to be that generous. Part of the reason why it's what I wish for is because it's not what I am. But I just wish I could do better for everybody. I don't have any hatred or malice for anyone in my heart. I just don't like wickedness, and I don't like injustice, and I want righteousness, and I want goodness. And I know it's not going to happen if people just keep kind of chilling out and making excuses for why they do nothing. And again, the do-nothing doctrine is powerful, but at the same time, it's also very flawed because so many people in the Christian world today believe that it's their job to wait around for God to do something, to take up their cross for them, and to lead them by the rope to follow him instead of to take up the cross themselves and so forth. And, the fact is that the world is not changed by people who stand on the line and leave the fat guy to run huffing and puffing by himself. They can just stay on the line. Stay put, you mean nothing. The world is changed by movers and shakers, by people who sprint off the line for the sake of the team. No regard for the fact that the weight's too big to move, that the challenge is too big to overcome. No regard for the fact that you're a nobody, that you don't have the weight, you don't have the clout, you don't have the power to change the world. Everybody will tell you that. Everybody will tell you you're too small, you're too short, nobody knows your name. But God knows your name. God knows who you really are in him, in his kingdom. And so the reality is that you can live your life feeling like your biggest detractor, your biggest hater, and you can tell yourself you can't do it, and you can sit on the line, and everybody's going to do that. Everybody's going to sit on the line because they don't have enough weight and they don't have enough clout and nobody knows their name and they can't move the fat guy. Okay? We've heard it all before. I've heard it all before. I've seen it all. I'm looking right now at the world in turmoil and I see people with 100 times my networking power, 100 times my social media, 100 times my finances, 1,000 times my finances, and they just don't do a damn thing because they're on the line where it's safe. They're clutching their pearls because they've got something to lose. And hey, maybe that's what makes us different. Maybe that's what makes them better than me. They've got something to lose, so they don't want to run out on it. That's okay. But the Lord set me up with nothing to lose, so I guess that makes me the guy, doesn't it? Because I'm the one who's about to sprint off the line. That's what we're doing here for the first prestige. What does that actually mean? Since I've spent the last hour basically saying nothing and everything, the first prestige was part of a Call of Duty system where once you had beaten all of the unlocks and got all the custom weapon skins, like you'd really maxed out, you'd done it all. You'd accomplished everything you set out to do, right? And then what's next? You get to that crossroads. What do I do now? And Call of Duty thought it out for us. They said, why don't you just do it again? Hit the ground running, knowing everything you know from everything you've done before. Oh, it was so hard for me to get all those combos, to stack all that up, to make those accomplishments. It was a challenge. I had to learn new skills. I had to develop a new mechanic. I had to do something that I'd never done before in order to overcome these things. But now, I'm going to do it again. I've even had these moments where I sat here and thought, man, I should get another SL. Why? I don't have room for it, but I could fix it. I should just get a whole barn, fill it with SLs cheap off of Facebook Marketplace and start fixing them because in some years they're going to be worth a fortune. That's how I feel now. So I went from the guy a couple of weeks back, a month and a half ago, who was like, I don't think I can do this anymore. It was Wednesday afternoon and something that I should love to do, something that I've always loved to do was weighing on me. It was heavy. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go on the show. I don't want to teach service. I don't want to be the main character. And I couldn't figure out why. It's like I had lost myself. And it was because my job, my job opportunity had opened up and I am no longer a recreational attendee. I'm not here because I want to be anymore. And at first I thought that's a good reason to quit. Like, I don't want to do that. I just ran my whole entire field of run. I don't want to run anymore, man. I'm tired. I'm as tired as everyone else, only I don't have kids who need me. I don't have a reason to keep going. Because you wake up in the morning and you don't want to go and you're like thinking of excuses. I'm sick this morning, boss. I don't want to come in. I'm too tired. Instead of like everyone else who takes charge. Well, I got to feed my kids. Quitting isn't an option. Well, here you go, guys. My people, my Father's kingdom is in tatters. The walls of Jerusalem are in tatters, people. And I lament because the city's walls are in ruin, because her people are scattered to the waste, because my brothers and sisters in Christ don't get to spend the day rejoicing and enjoying the creation. Instead, we just slave away forever to feed these monsters, these parasites. I'm like over it, dude. I'll do the Eucharist. I don't get, I don't care at this point. I'll do whatever Christianese thing it is as long as the heathens are out of question, out of commission. And that includes Jews and Muslims and every other antithetical to truth and reality, ridiculous worldview. We will water them down until it's over. We will continue to push until this whole place is clean, because that's what we were sent here to do. If you don't think that's you, too bad. I'm not talking to you. You know why you're here. You know why you can't rest. Because this world is in turmoil and it needs change. And every time you look and you're not finding it with Republicans, you're not finding it with Democrats, you're not finding it at your local church, you're not finding it at the mega church, you're not finding it in the mosque, you're not finding it in the synagogue. And the reason you're not finding it anywhere is because none of these institutions are the kingdom. They're all products of mankind's control scheme to try to keep us from the reality, which is that Jesus Christ has restored mankind to his position of dominion. And underneath the hierarchy of his holy kingdom, you too have the right to be a king and a priest, not a wage slave, not a tax host for these parasites. You are not supposed to decide between pothole roads and mud paths. You are supposed to walk paved golden streets. You are supposed to live in palatial estates as a king. A king does not pay taxes. A king invests in what they so wish. And that is why this is completely unacceptable, and it is why the truth of what I'm speaking will resonate, because the elites of the world don't care. They're already living as kings and aristocrats. They're already kings and priests of Satan. They have nothing to worry about, nothing to concern themselves, no reason to want the system to change, because they're happy where they are. But the rest of us are perishing because of this lack of knowledge, right? Or we're destroyed for this lack of knowledge. Because Christians all around the world have prioritized useless divisions over minor, non-salvation issues. We've been divided over all these dogmatic and ridiculous, stupid doctrines that have convinced people to give all their authority and power over to imaginary flying dragons, infinitely age-old systems of men, and all of the constructs and every little system, all the spell casting of ballots, and every little thing, every little acquiescence. Everyone has been trained to do that. And the time has come for those days to end. This is the new kingdom age. God is calling on his people to go back to the beginning of the Bible and to remember the reason for which mankind was created. God wanted another dimension in his realm. He wanted to prestige his kingdom, which was already complete, but he wanted to add something more. He wanted to do it again, something bigger, something bolder, something different. A brand new dimension. So God decided to create the world and to create mankind to be its managers. And no matter how many years of false doctrine have gone by, no matter how many systems, no matter how many leaders, no matter how many failures or distractions that pass us by over the course of human history, we have never, ever lost the purpose for which God made us. And he so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son to die for our sins, not so that we would simply be absolved of our failure, but so that we could obtain our success in him. Christ dying wasn't just to forgive you for all the times you didn't do good enough, but it was to enable you so that you could do good enough, so that you could reach those heights that he set before you when he made you, before the foundations of the earth, before you were formed in your mother's womb. Look at the turmoil of the world and tell me that's not opportunity. Tell me that is not the flames of which you will walk out not even smelling of smoke. This could be the time in human history, the chapter in Bible 2 where the world looks and saw the Christians had their backs to the wall. They were divided against each other. They didn't know where to turn. They didn't know what to do. Everyone was trying to become some sort of far-right misogynist or trying to make America great again. And all these failed ploys, all these useless systems. Well, this religion, this country, this creed, this race, that race. And nobody realized that all along the solution to all of our divisions and all of our problems and all of our misery comes in the form of the kingdom of God. Because black lives do matter in God's kingdom, and so do white lives. The same. And that's what we're missing everywhere else, because everybody just wants revenge. Everybody just wants supremacy. Everyone is driven by hatred. But there's only one kingdom that's driven by love. That God loved us so much, he sent his son to die so that we could have everlasting life. There's only one kingdom that offers that to the world. And the people are dying. The people need life. And so here we are living in 2026 of all years, having progressed so far down the tubes that you would think it was hopeless. But I really think that this is where hope shines the brightest. It's when it seems that there's no light at the end of the tunnel. That's when you find it. That's when you realize how important and how valuable it really is. All my life, I thought, what is the point? Maybe I'll just get the job at the warehouse. I mean, just have a kid. You just play the system. Just do the thing that we're told to do. Go with the flow. Go to college. Get the degree. Get a job. If all that, and if that did it, there'd be so many people who'd be there already. I know so many people who did all that, and they're not there either. So there has to be something else. It's not just about having a wife and kids and a good job and paying the bills, because we got people in this chat that are doing that. And I'm happy for you, and I'm proud of you. Thank you for taking care of the people that God stewarded you with and the opportunities that God stewarded you with. And you've been placed in charge of more things than just that. I want you to know that. I want everybody to know that. But man, like, the other side ain't it either. I got the muscle car, man. I got the I could do anything I want. I quit YouTube and go just travel around. You know what I mean? I could not take on the burden and go to war with a hornet's nest of angry heathens. Well, what's the fun in that, you know? Where is the power and authority in that? Another acquiescence, well, that's nothing new. I think that we should do more. I think we should feel more emboldened than ever just by the face of how ugly the whole thing is. Wow. We certainly have our own Goliath to destroy so that history can repeat once again that God will not be mocked, that he is sovereign, his will be done on earth just as it is in heaven. And now the time has come for us not only to wait on God, which is what we're doing in reality. We've waited through decades of shit. And now God says, rise and become kings and priests like you are always destined to be. That's the message. And if you don't like it, you can just get out of the way. It's that simple, right? This is about taking conquest of everything in the world. Every single institution, every single asset, every single scrap of land on the earth. Because it all belongs to God. It's all part of his kingdom. And we, as his people, have to take up that cross and follow him. Jesus Christ came to bring a kingdom, not to die, but to live. And so for all of us here who are alive today, you're not here to give up, to die, to fall, to succumb or acquiesce. You're here to rise and to live and to lead. Follow and lead. It's like a hierarchy, you know. Pick up your cross. And I think that if we did that, we could set an example for the world that there was another choice. You know, I guarantee you, right, if you had 3 new cars sitting there, one is like clapped and junky, and one of them is like, you know, has electrical problems, and the other one's like perfect and brand new and wholesome and everything. Everyone picks the new, nice, good one, you know, and that's what the kingdom needs to be for the world. You know, when Jesus Christ came to the earth, he showed people miracles and power because he needed them to see that his kingdom was real and that it had power and that you could choose a different authority structure now. You didn't have to just give in to the Pharisees and follow their stupid rules, and you don't have to follow the pagan gods and the old ways. And you could be a part of something new and something different. And regardless of whether you think that those people were part of the millennial kingdom or anything like that, nevertheless, they built cathedrals and churches all around the world, and they brought Christianity 1,000+ years into the future to where we are today. And it's like those people were driven by the things they knew and saw. And I don't see any reason why we can't live the same way, why we can't build churches and make things better in such a way that the world can see the example. People will choose what benefits them more. You know, it's like if you have to choose between the United States and the third world, yeah, they'll pick Trump and they'll pick this hellhole any day because at least there's still bread and milk, you know. But imagine, you know, like being past all this stuff and like being able to really sit down and hash out all of our little problems and really make harmony in society because we got over it. We got over the big problem of just not doing our job, not getting back to the mechanic part of which we were hired for. Like, I know you want to finish the paint and make it look good. I know the floor's got to get swept. We've got to sweep it every day. We never stop having to sweep the shop, but we got to remember what we came here to do, which was to be a mechanic and to fix cars. God said, go forth and have dominion, and ain't a one of us dominion of nothing. I'm sorry. I hate to say that, but it's true. And I just kept thinking, well, somebody, maybe Elon or something, not that I really expected that, but I just thought at some point down the line, some big famous guy with a lot of money and power would step out because he had the ability to. He had what we didn't have. He wasn't an 84-pound soaking wet little kid with no name. He was the captain of the team, and everybody knows him. And I'm like, surely Jake Belford will run. You know what I mean? Surely one of these guys, one of these guys will run out there and lead the team. And no, the world doesn't move until David steps out, because everybody else has to see that if a small, powerless, weak person will step out in faith, then what's your excuse? That's where all the pushback even comes from. You guys see it. There's people who are mad at me, and they're like trying to justify the do-nothing doctrine and try to say it's not what that is and la la la. And they try to do that, and it's not because they don't like me. It's because they don't like the truth. They don't like the message. They did this to Miles Monroe, and he was like rich and black and eloquent and collegiate. He and I are the opposite, and yet they found a way to be like, well, no, not that guy either. What's the opposite of mentally ill, white, 30 years old and whatever? Oh no, a black guy in his 60s who's rich and not from America and like he's everything I'm not, but nope, that ain't it either. You couldn't nitpick. These people could not point. They had Jesus Christ on earth preaching the message, and they crucified him. I am not at all concerned with detraction, okay? I know where detraction comes from. It comes from stubbornness. It comes from ignorance. It comes from foolishness. It comes from darkness. The only reason that people stand against the idea of Christian dominion is because they like the idea of subservience to systems of Satan. It's easier that way. Trust me, I know. But now is time to stand for something bigger, something better, something bolder, something for the good of everyone, whether they like it or not. If they came under the rule of my kingdom government, your kingdom government, the kingdom of God, they wouldn't be worried about the taxation of the groceries and all this, because there wouldn't be endless wars. They've already spent $150 billion killing people in the last 90 days. Think about how much better our country would already look with $150 billion of better infrastructure. Again, I know that you guys get it. And so what I really want to tell you guys is that I'm grateful that you're here still, that you're still with me after trying to have to decide if I was going to be even able to do this, right? Like, because I get it. Like, if you watch a guy who's like Mr. Bold for the kingdom and then he wavers or appears to waver, like that'd take the wind out of everybody's sails. Like if I had tried to run out to Jesse and then I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't. Is anyone else coming? Am I alone in this? Am I going to just get nuked and destroyed alone? But that wasn't my mentality. My mentality was, well, this is a problem. I'm going head first at it because I looked real quick, didn't see anybody. All right, screw it then. It's me. Love it or hate it. Your 84-pound soaking wet football kid is charging towards the problem head first. So you're either going to be the coward that stayed on the line or you're going to get behind me. And I don't give a shit if you care whether or not I co-sign the Nicene Creed. Get behind me, dumbass. I literally mean that. If you're going to continue to propagate divisions over nonsense little things that have nothing to do with saving the world at large, taking on your initial dominion job to ensure that the widows and orphans are cared for. You can't do that. You're broke. You ain't caring for widows or orphans. They're being bombed to death with your missile systems at your taxpayer expense because you don't have representation and you don't have any authority. And I'm telling you now, the representation and authority is here, the Christian Dominion movement. And it's up to you to have the courage to get off the line because we're going down there to solve the problem and you'll benefit from it whether you help us or not. The difference is God's watching and he knows who cares. So for the people who sit there on the line and ignore Jesse, just know that it's you looking at your brothers and sisters and saying, not my problem. Because whether you want to say so or not, those brothers and sisters in every country of this world were persecuted and destroyed for his name's sake. And even in this country where pastors are jailed for months on end, their rights are stripped away by this government, every person who touched that should hang by their neck till they're dead. And until you get behind me, it's never going to happen. So you can sit here and slog through hell, or you can fight back and save the kids, whether they're liberal or whether they're black or Hispanic or Asian or whatever. It doesn't even matter, dude. They don't know because they can't decide for themselves because their future is set. Doom. Every kid growing up in this country is going to grow up with insurmountable debt and the inability to have a life of quality, and that is our fault because we're standing on the line, and I won't stand here anymore. I thought about it good and hard, and I decided I'm all in. CDM, we're going to change the world. And whether you believe in me or not is irrelevant. Nobody cared when I ran off the line. And when I got there, the whole team was behind me. And I know you'll be behind me too. So that's kind of the bottom line. We are so back. And we're more than back. We're going to expand. This is something that the world needs more than ever. Not because it's my message, not because it's my cult on the internet, not because it's my world domination supervillain character arc or whatever, but because it's just a fact that I have been driven to this by the circumstances of the world in my life. Whether I like it or not, I can't help but see the yellow brick road before me and say anything else is a direct divergence. I am not going into the belly of the whale. I will walk to Nineveh, Lord. Thank you for the opportunity to ruin my life. And look, it's not like everything everyone does is wrong. There are some really great churches out there with so many people whose hearts are in the right place. We just need to give people the tools to change their life and the lives of the people around them, to know their authority or no authority, as Wendy says. And that comes in the form of education and the proliferation of God's truth, which is not my truth. It's in the first book of the Bible. If you erased everything you ever thought you knew about Christendom and history and the Bible, just empty your mind and open the book, page 1, and start reading. And as you read the first chapter, as you know, you don't know anything yet. Right? It's like you just opened a novel for the first time. What does it say in here? Well, there's a God. He's all powerful. Heaven. Really cool. Oh, he adds a new dimension. Oh, the heavens, the earth. Oh, he places the realm. He makes it, fills it with life. And puts a guy. Oh, that guy's in charge. It's right there in the story. Every other preconceived notion needs to just go away, and you need to start over again. Humble yourself and be like children as you approach the throne of God. Recognize that that's what I have done here. I don't care about the doctrines and things that are pervasive and destroying the Christian faith because they have never been a part of my life. I have a relationship with God, and I am the most zealous slave of the kingdom that I have ever been in my life, and that has nothing to do with stuff like church tradition. I would love there to be a tradition. I would love there to be like, we're doing communion, but like not religiously, but we remember Jesus' body broken for us, and we think about the blood he spilt for us. That's why we do it. Why can't we just do that? Why can't we acknowledge the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit and the divinity of them and it not be a giant argument about whether the Trinity is or is not? Every single one of those things was created by Satan. These divisions were created by Satan to keep the church ineffective. There's an arm over there, an eye over there, a foot down there, and in the drawer over there is the nuts. And I'm telling you, it's time to get the balls back to the church. I'm bringing them back right now. And we're going to go from place to place, ministry to ministry, soul by soul, until the whole world is unified under the only thing that can unite us. It's not America, land of Zog, and it's certainly not the third world where we're having shit-flinging festivals. It's possible to say two things can be wrong at the same time. We can have two bad candidates. We can have two evils, and I'm not choosing the lesser. I'm choosing the neither. I'm choosing the kingdom of God from here on out. And I know that everybody else is going to have to overcome themselves to do it, but it's coming. The time has arrived. No longer are we going to sit here waiting for someone to lead us out of Egypt. It's time. The Exodus is now, and we're not going anywhere. It's kind of more like a purge, if you really think about it. We are going to propagate God's real truth. The truth will set you free. It will make you free. You will know it, and it shall set you free. It shall make you free, etc. And by that, I mean, we're going to set the people free. When I get control of the levers of power, we're going to save the poor people. We're going to save the widows and orphans because it's the only pure and undefiled religion. We're going to end the endless wars because it's not Christ-like to kill children. And we're going to end the domestic slaughter because it's not righteous to kill children. And we're not going to be having a debate with heathens who kill kids. We are going to protect kids from wolves and from mentally ill people. We're going to reconstruct our civilization. We're going to lock up crazy people. We're going to execute evil murderers and child rapists and all these bad people. The wood chipper thing is real. We're going to go through a very violent and crazy era of crusader, sword-banging craziness, and then we're going to have peace on earth, and all these liberals and all these seething hordes of fools will be so grateful they won't even know how to thank you other than to just be nice. They'll probably just convert out of virtue of the fact that they finally got to see something other than the hellscape that has poisoned their mind. Because I really think that's what's missing. People saw Jesus do miracles and they thought, wow, that's different. Well, it's time to see the power of the kingdom on the earth once more. It's time to rise as kings and priests, to become saints of this generation, and to lead the world into a better future. And I don't care if you think I'm wrong. I don't care if you don't like me. It's a fact of the matter. We're here. CDM is here, and there's nothing that anyone can do to stop it, and except for maybe me. And I guess that ship has sailed, so to speak. So yeah, I'm back. And I'm happy to announce, of course, that we will be returning this Sunday. Sorry, I kind of messed up the announcement last week, and I think people thought it was last week. My bad. We are returning Sunday, August 8th, for the Sunday service with a brand new series, our Kingdom Teaching Series, where we're going to talk about the biblical understanding, the biblical principles, and scriptural evidence for everything that I talk about on this channel. Not just the sovereignty and the reality that Jesus Christ rose from the dead. He is alive today and king today, and that's central. But also the fact that we are a Christian people who forgot how to pick up our cross and follow. So many people know that they must, but they've forgotten how. And so we're going to relearn that together. We're going to grow together. I've seen so many people over the course of the last 15, 20 years growing and changing in the way that they believe about the world and the way they treat one another. I mean, I've seen people, like a good example would be like Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks. She was such a seething leftist. And over the last 5, 10 years, she's turned around a lot. Like, granted, she's very anti-Israel. How could you not be in this age? But I think she's become a lot more reasonable. She understands why people want to keep guns to protect themselves. Like, I think we always do this where it's like, well, only Republicans can have guns and Democrats are meant to fend for themselves. It's like, what? You should have a gun too. You know, we're always divided against each other, and the truth is so much better. It's both sides win with the kingdom. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you know, the housing situation's out of control, right? Like, they continually raise the property value through artificial inflation until either your adjustable rate mortgage goes up too high and you have to foreclose or sell or whatever, or the taxation and the insurance cost goes too high so you can't afford it and you have to sell. And if you end up in any debt at all, they'll just take your house and sell it for pennies, and they're allowed to do that legally. Supreme Court says that's fine. We got a government that takes your house away. I think that you tell the bank, you shouldn't have loaned that guy money then. Isn't that right? Like, are we not sovereign? I would tell you that in my kingdom, the kingdom of God, if you bought a castle and you financed a castle and that company financed you a castle and you didn't pay them back, that's on them. They should have checked your credit. They should have made sure you were somebody who was going to pay. You know, like, what is this whole, punish the poor person, take their house, and then give a bailout to the banks. Give a bailout to the automakers who gave a bunch of loans no one can afford it. Usurious interest rates with no recompense. Nah. If you love your people, if you love your community, you love your sheep and your flock, you protect them from the wolves. You don't protect the wolves from them. There's a reason so many people cheered on that Luigi Mangione guy for killing that CEO. All they saw was a monster killed by a hero. They don't care that an innocent man died. That's a very heathen mindset because they celebrate death of Charlie Kirk, or some guys chased through the town by a knife and they're like, was the knife hurt? Looking for any chance to stab emotionally at the other tribe. I'm just over that. I'm not going to sit here and argue with people. They're sick. They're mentally ill. They're full of hatred while accusing you of being full of hate. No. The dialogue is done. It's time for dominion. You had your chance. For the last 150 years, Christians have been flaccid and ineffective and totally absent from government. That's a fact. And all these people are like getting increasingly emboldened to act like they hate us, hate Christians, hate white people, hate America, hate whatever. And I come down to my sports arena and I see kids of every walk of life, instructors of every walk of life, men, women, boys, girls, black, white, Native American, Hispanic, Asian, everything, playing sports, having fun, getting along. You know what? We're gonna win. You sons of bitches. We're going to win. We're going to have Christ's kingdom full of diversity, all of the different colors of his people, all of the different creeds, all the different cultures. Everyone celebrated, everyone embraced, everyone enjoyed, everybody thriving, everybody prospering, because that is a promise. It's not just some guy on the internet telling you about the delusions of how you'll get a free house, although you probably will. We have absolutely unmitigated GDP creation. We have more people and more tech and more equipment. These people have been sucking us dry for so long that if we had the control of the finance levers for like a year, all debt would be eradicated. We don't even need tax money. We can just generate wealth. And it's the same plan that we intend to do with CDM. We're going to micro this and then we're going to macro it. We're going to build a community centered around generating wealth out of the purest source, which is the kingdom of God. And I don't mean wealth like we're going to get rich. We're going to generate value for the world, because the world doesn't see value in random churches or random gospel, because it doesn't do anything for the world. That's why the church has fallen out. Nobody goes. People don't have any faith. The entire Christendom has failed because it produces no value for the world. The kingdom of God is nothing but value for the world and after. And I intend to open that vault for the world to see. And you will help me do that, and we will succeed. Why? Not because I think it's a good idea, but because it's a promise. Seek first the kingdom. Now, what does that mean? Of course, we'll talk about that in our upcoming Sunday service, but to seek first the kingdom is to seek first his authority, his will, his plan. So what is that? Dominion. His plan. That you would go forth and subdue the earth and have dominion. That's his will. That's his plan. And the mechanism by which you do it, his authority, his strength, his kingdom. So seek ye first that. All right, everyone wonders why they're not getting anything. Imagine if you ran the world. What is it that's missing? What is it that we're lacking that we couldn't have if we had the money that they waste on bombs to instead waste on helping people? Just let's be honest. I could present this to atheists and they would be on my side. So when Christians detract from me, it makes me laugh. Because the future of the world is going to make atheists and leftists and Democrat people very happy. They're going to get a free ride, as they should, because this is our earth. We shouldn't be suffering from the turmoil. You know, it's one thing to say, oh, the biblical curse, men will toil the earth and it'll bring up thorns and thistles. Well, yeah, but Jesus Christ has returned. This is a new kingdom now. Now we have the ability to dominate the plants and the thistles and thorns once more. We have the power to overcome these things. And you see microcosms in it, even in how the way the secular world builds up defenses. We get anti-venom for snake bites. We create poison sprays for invasive weed species. We do these mechanical things that we get away with somehow. Imagine thinking you could tempt God and change the face of the earth by mowing down forests and planting fields instead. People don't realize how much authority they already have. They don't realize how much dominion they already carry. Most of it has just been abdicated to bad actors in places like Hollywood and social media and, worst of all, the U.S. government and probably Israel and several others. The point being is that if we just had those positions, we wouldn't be suffering. Jesse wouldn't be struggling to get back to the line. And not only would Jesse be healthy and unburdened, we wouldn't even have to chase him down because he'd be in good straits. We wouldn't be suffering from rampant disease and hyperinflation and working everyone to death, cortisol till you're dead. I knew a guy, his dad died at 51 years old. 51 years old. That's so young. And it wasn't like he didn't get cancer. I mean, he died from a rough life. He drove a truck, he ate gas station food, he smoked cigarettes a lot, and it killed him. And that's because he lived a life in the hamster wheel, just doing what we were told to do. He died at 51 years old. And I'm like, man, I'm 32, and it's not very old, but shoot, 51's not that long from now, dude. It's not a long time. That's less than my life over. That sucks. If you think you only have that much time, you better do something. You better live a life that matters, because any day can be your last day. And then I think about that and I'm like, man, I really want to live for the kingdom today. I want to do something today. I don't want to live another 30 years and never see a better life for myself or anybody else. And then I got to just sit here knowing I was here the whole time. And what finger did I lift to try? You have not yet resisted sin unto bloodshed. Not a one of us. And I just think that's bogus, man. It's not acceptable. Whatever happened to the bearing the cross part of the whole operation? Following after him. He died for his kingdom. Not a one of us has done that. So I just see it as like whatever semblance of a life I thought I had, I've given that up. It's time. I'm dead for the kingdom now. And these bastards, I've got 30, 50 more years here, dude. The amount of damage to their system, the amount of positive change. And this is the other thing I guess I should remember. I'm not here to go to war with the enemy. I'm here to go to war for the kingdom. I'm here to fight for the people of this world, for the people who can't fight for themselves, for the kids, for the idiots, for the teeming masses around the world who don't have leadership, who don't have guidance, who don't have representation. Because I've been that. I get it. I am that. I am that guy who inherited nothing and have earned nothing and have nothing. Nothing's going with me. Maybe an old clunky German car. Not to the kingdom anyway. Maybe do like a Viking funeral and set it on fire with me inside of it or something. But listen, I mean, people ask the question. Mama Khan's even asking, I want to serve so badly I don't even know where to begin, but I'm ready. I don't have a job. My time is my own. Let's go. And so this is the question, right? Like, what can you do? And everybody has a different strength and a different weakness, and that's what makes the body what it is. What happens is we don't have a willingness. So then when chances come, we miss them. That's got to be the change we make, is to take on the responsibility as if it's our own. This is our world, our problem, our people. And nobody's fixing them. They're not fixing themselves. You know, we keep waiting around for the bus to come, and it's like we are the transportation. This is the party bus. You know? And so when it comes to stuff like this, it's like, yeah, we're going to have to get nitty gritty. We're going to have to talk about what you can do materially every day. What is today's actual kingdom task? What are you sowing for the kingdom, you know? You can sow seeds or you can sow some, you know what I mean? What are you doing for the kingdom? And we can get into the nitty gritties, and we will. We'll talk about what that actually looks like and how you can actually serve the kingdom. And it's not just about give money to this church so that you can feel that you did your thing and we can get paid. You know, I'm way past that. I want to make things that the heathens buy from us. I want the world to grow CDM. I want them to do it. I want the kingdom to be manifested because a bunch of people who don't like God did it by mistake. I want them to be pigeon. I want to do to them what they've done to us. I want the new world order. I want it to be like it's the coming new world order. The UFO is CDM, Jesus' kingdom coming down. Oh no, you're screwed. There's nothing we can do. It's a secret society of Christians. They run everything. Like, I just imagine it's like atheist conspiracy networks in like 20 years, and they talk about these Christians have a multi-generational cult. They're running every fabric of society. Everyone in every position of influence is planted. You did it first. You asked for this, and I'm here for 30 to 50 more years, so let the games begin. Buckle up, my friends. It's about to get crazy, and there's really no better way to do it than on this crazy gravy train, Kool-Aid bus, or whatever we're doing. I think this is the perfect vehicle to launch this thing. It's just, how are we going to take it to the next level? It means we're going to have to play some of the rules. We're going to have to play by some of the rules, and we're also going to have to break other rules, okay? We're going to have to do some things right and some things wrong, and there'll be a lot to say about what that looks like, but here's the basic example, right? It's not okay to believe what we believe. You can't be against America, and like, you can't want a Christo-fascistic monarchy of kings and priests running the world. You can't openly advocate. I mean, I guess you can for now. We'll see how long that lasts. But what we can do is we can empower people with the truth. Like, what does the Bible really say, and who are they really in Christ's kingdom? Like, you're not just a sheep. You're a warrior. You're a king and a priest, a queen. You know, you're a member of a divine priesthood and a member of a royal family, of a hierarchy that currently runs the earth. Donald Trump is actually illegitimate. Everyone, China, that's not a country, that's made up. The whole world is Jesus' earth. The entire thing. Every speck of dirt. And every soul, whether they like it or not. And so I just really, we've been pushed around for too long. Saw this video the other day. It really empowered me. And it's not because I'm pro-violence, but I am ready to say it's time to put our foot down. Saw this group and they were praying in the streets. They're all kneeling and praying. It was a protest, but they weren't yelling. They weren't saying, they were praying. And an interloper came over, a detractor, one of these who's gotten so emboldened because nothing's ever happened to him. At least not for attacking the peaceful Christians, which is what seems to be the reason why people target Christians, because they're peaceful. Well, we'll be keeping the peaceful Christians peaceful by doing what's necessary to protect them. Anyway, this is our sheepdog of the week here. We'll celebrate. I wish I knew his name. I wish we could give him a CDM medal of achievement. Thank you for holding your ground and protecting that flock there, my friend. I wish I could tell you, God bless you. But anyway, the man stands up. The interloper came over and spit on them while they were praying. And one guy just gets up and gives him this mighty left hook, drops him like a sack of potatoes. It felt so good to see that. And I'm just telling you guys that this is proverbially what's about to happen. The Christian people are sick of this. They're not going to sit around anymore. You might be someone who sits around. That's okay. I'm not asking little old lady to bring out the rolling pin and start swinging. But I am saying we're not gonna play nice anymore. We're no longer being like, oh well, you can have a seat at the table. No. The only table that is gonna be a Christian round table where Christians decide. We can argue amongst each other. Well, I don't know. I mean, this goes against, in the book of whatever it tells us to. Yeah, we'll have that argument, and everyone else will be doing nothing when it comes to making the decisions of the future of this country and world. Mark my words. There is a chapter in the Bible that tells you how this story ends. For the old order has passed away. We're living the old order right now. This is the way of misery, the weeping and the sorrow and the pain and the death and all that stuff. And we are moving from this to a place where those things are no more. And you can say, maybe when you die, you'll enter, and then you get to live in that new heaven, new earth where there's no more sorrow, no more weeping, no more pain. Or maybe you live long enough to see the world change, for Christ's kingdom to take hold and for the world to really become a sin-free, wonderful place. Now, I'm not saying that's what we do, but God can do that, and God has a mechanism to do that. And so instead of sitting around expecting God to magically put a stick in the water for you, take the staff in your hand. With it, you'll do his wonders. That's a fact, man. And I don't care what anybody says who detracts from that. If you're like, well, we can't change the world, well, that's because you don't believe in his power. It's not just that he can, it's that he will. It's a promise. From the very beginning of the book to the very end of the book. Here you are, made to rule and dominate, and here you are in the end, having done it. That's the story. And if it weren't for Jesus right in the middle making it all possible, you couldn't do it. But he's alive today and king today. And so because of him, you can. Trust God, take the risk, do the work. We are so back. Destination kingdom, my friends. And what I mean by that is we are about to embark on the most crazy journey that anyone has seen. It is 2026. The future is bright. Goliath is mighty, but the Lord's hand is mightier, and he will be delivered for God's purposes. Now, as we go forward here, there's one more thing I want to announce, since for those of you guys who are here, we're going to be doing a merchandise giveaway. I thought it was a good idea to, see if we can spice up the lives of some of our supporters and try to give back in a way. So we're going to do two prizes. The grand prize is going to be a Zealot t-shirt, which is one of the spendy ones, and then another item of your choice from the merch store. So that's going to be a grand prize, and then the secondary prize is going to be any one of the normal t-shirts or merch items, just not the Zealot ones because they're super pricey or whatever. So grand prize is Zealot and an extra item. Second runner-up is going to be anything you want, and if you want to enter, consider becoming a supporter on patreon.com. Every member is going to be automatically entered to win. We're going to do a drawing right here on the stream, and you can enter for as little as $1, but consider becoming a supporter of the channel, and this will be our way to give back to you in this raffle here for some brand new merchandise. Again, we have a $1 tier. We call it bus fare, so if you just want to throw a dollar in, the month of August is what we're going to run it for. So at the end of the month here, as long as you made it to Patreon membership before the end of the month, you'll be automatically entered to win. and we'll reach out to you and let you know if you want. Of course, we'll do it on the stream. I guess it won't be next week. It'll be like 2 weeks from now. So merchandise giveaway if you want, totally optional. With all that being said, guys, it's such an honor to be here with you guys Wednesday. It's great to be back. It feels really good to just speak the truth. I've been kind of keeping it to myself, and it feels really good to let it out. And I'm very excited for what the future holds. I always say that it's really like a mustard seed. You know, the Bible says things start like that. The smallest of the seeds is the greatest of all the herbs. And if my message was anything other than give glory to Christ, assert that he's king today, place him above every government on earth, assert his will of righteousness upon the land, protect the widows, the orphans, you know, make this world a better place, pick up the cross, take on the burden, fight back evil, sell your robe, buy a sword. All of these messages are so true and so real, and it's time for Christianity to grab them, to embrace them, and to stop asking permission to make the world a better place. It's time for change, and change has come. Welcome to the Christian Dominion movement. God bless you guys so much. Thank you all for being here. As you know, I am Con Man, and it's good to be back. I love you guys. Thank you for joining us for level 100, the first prestige. We have a lot of things ahead of us, a lot of things to overcome, a lot to do, and all that fun stuff. But we will get there. And like I said, everything begins as something little, but it becomes something great in time and with great effort. So God bless you all. Thank you all for being here. The Christian Dominion movement has begun. The sky's the limit. Destination kingdom. Trust God. Take the risk. Do the work. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you all on Sunday for the new Kingdom teaching series from the Sunday service. And we'll be back next week for main character, level 101, Little Man Syndrome. All right, take it easy. Bye. All right, okay.
Now when the 1,000 years have expired, Satan will be released from his prison. He will go forth to deceive the nations which are in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together for the final battle, an army whose number is as the sand of the sea.
It's amazing the affirmations that come my way when I fake it until I make it. The truth is waiting, complacent organizations. They say I'm racist, they hate and they making payments on my vacation. I'm the man, I'm the king, I'm rejecting what you think. Rearranging your mentality, got some Kool-Aid you can drink. It's a scam, it's a plan, it's a con, and I'm your man. You know I tell it like it is, I hold the secrets in my hand.